I'm a little bit late. I was chatting with some family and enjoying the conversation, so um, I normally have it pre-scheduled. So I'm like, oh, hopefully it will notify people. And I'm just getting the like a TikTok live set up as well, and I'll pull up the chat in a second. I plan on. I have quilting stuff. I plan on doing cotton cuts again. Right now, there's two puzzle mystery quilts going on, the spring and the fall, and they sometimes, well, not sometimes, they do overlap for a few months. So I have quite a bit of quilting projects going on. I'm just hoping that I can pull up the chat. Sorry, so usually should be like a notification and stuff. Alright, well, I guess I'll swipe out and try again. When I was, before I hit live, like, I really need to look into some of the, like, streaming platforms, like StreamYard and stuff, because when I was just setting it up, even though I changed it to horizontal, it wanted to, like, flip the camera around. There we go. So, hi, Renetta. Aw, it's raining. Hey, Dad. I'm glad the notifications are popping up for everybody that follows. It's not raining in New York yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if rain is making its way up. It was gorgeous today, but definitely starting to feel like fall. All right, and I'm gonna plug in the mini iron. I'm always paranoid about forgetting it on, so I never plug it in until like right when I'm gonna use it. So I have the Cotton Cuts large month 8 here. I have to film the full-length tutorial, so I spent this weekend doing another tutorial, and I had this all laid out, so I don't have one of the blocks sewn to show you. I'm gonna reverse it. Usually I do my tutorial and then do a block on live, so this time my plan is to swap it. But I wanted to show you, I've been talking about, actually, let me see. I pulled it up. I purchased the Ghost Party. I don't know if like the screen will pick it up, but it's by Woolly Petals. It's another quilt. And it has like the different ghosts, and I want to do a throw pillow for the couch out of it. And so I have had this fat quarter bundle of Tula's Alice in Wonderland for a few years now, because I got it from Gotham Quilts, which is a quilt shop in the city, and they closed like during COVID. So I've had it a while, and if I do a variegated background, it said it needed like 12 fat quarters. So I also purchased some extra fabric. So these are all in the Alice in Wonderland line of Tula. And I was going to do 12, but then in the some of the Facebook groups, some people said that they used even more. So now I'm debating like whether I keep these pinks in. So you can see there's like the drippy flowers, and this one has, I don't know if it's so visible. It's like just different silhouettes. The ones that are more obvious, oh yeah, like right here. You can see like Alice and the globe, like different prints or different symbols from the movie. And then this one has like the Mad Hatter. He's my favorite. So yeah, I think I'm going to use this as the variegated background with Tula Pink Fairy Flakes as the ghosts. You could do variegated ghosts or like solid. So this is my plan. I think it goes together kind of well. And then they use fabric paper piecing for the ghost eyes. So I bought the black, is it not fairy flakes? I forgot what they called this one. It has like the bird print on it. This one is the fairy flakes. But this is, I don't know, this has a large bird. So it's in the same line. And it also has stars. And so this is also from the Alice in Wonderland. I guess it's supposed to be like the Cheshire Cat. I'm going to use this for the fabric paper piecing stars. So I haven't started cutting anything out yet. But this is another project that I've kind of mentioned, and I've pulled all the fabric so I can actually start cutting it. Now that it's fall, I've been really inspired to do like Halloween themed projects. So I want to really make that throw pillow, and past few nights I've been trying to finish up this cross stitch that I started that is Halloween themed as well. Are you guys working on any like fall or Halloween themed projects? I know not everyone celebrates Halloween. That's like a big thing in New York City that we're like mindful of when we're in the classroom and stuff. But I grew up celebrating it. It's one of my favorite holidays. I love seeing all the kids dressed up and stuff. So I'm starting to lay these out. This quilt is the Flyway Puzzle Mystery Quilt. It was started in the spring. It will finish in November, so there'll be a live reveal. This quilt has a ton of the economy blocks. So instead of in my full-length tutorials, I always go step by step, but I'm gonna kind of combine some of the steps just for time-wise to make it go a little bit quicker. I was just telling my dad that I hope to this weekend finish writing all the instructions for the bag that I showed the other day, that the bag pattern that I'm working on. But I feel like my brain, I've been so mentally tired that this past weekend I just did nothing. I just relaxed. Which was nice because the weekend before it was very busy. It was great. I spent a whole bunch of time with family, but I was definitely tired. I'm one of those people that I love being around people and having conversations and like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like outgoing, but if I'm around people, like I enjoy it. But I also, on the flip side, need some like recharging time and just quiet. So that's what this weekend was, a lot of quiet. I hope to, I was telling Jason that I feel bad because like the last few Tuesday nights I've been doing quilting projects, but mostly because that's just, I haven't cut anything out or whatnot. So next week I'll hopefully have either a bag to work on or some clothing if I can set up the serger. Because I did start cutting out some dresses for my nieces that I really want to get sewed up before it gets too cold and they can't wear them. And what I'm working on is called a puzzle mystery quilt. It is a block of the month style from a company called Cotton Cuts. I am an ambassador for them, which means that like I take their quilt and I advertise it on social media. So for me, like I post pictures of it and do tutorials. Every ambassador, we have control of like how we want to do that. So some people have YouTube channels, some just post on like Instagram and stuff. Um, but I've also done them before becoming an ambassador. And one of the things that I really like is that for times like right now when I want to sew, but I just like don't have the brain power or like the motivation to really cut out a whole bunch of things, they come pre-cut. And so like you have all your pieces, it's all pre-cut, you print out your instructions and you can get right to sewing, because the sewing is my favorite part. And I think if all of us who do sew, you know how much time goes into usually the prep work before you get to the actual sewing. Hi Cynthia, how are you? So this past weekend I was following on social media because Salty Sews, which is a company out of Florida, had their Salty Sews weekend, and out in Sacramento they did the Sacramento Sewing and Bag Expo. So that was a lot of fun seeing pictures and people posting about their time there. I'm doing well, thanks. I'm pretty tired. I'm getting back in the swing of not having summer off, going back to work, but doing really well. So Salty Sews, this is their second year of doing it. They always have it in September, which is really hard for me to make it because it is back to school for us. And in New York, we start after Labor Day. The Sac and Bag Expo in Sacramento, that was their first time putting it on. And the lady who ran it, her name is Sherry. And I got to meet her when we were in Las Vegas. Super nice. And she already posted that the dates for next year are mid-August. So I'm hoping that maybe I can make it work to go and teach next year, since it will fall during summer vacation. One of the plus sides of us going back to school is after Labor Day is that I do have the whole months of July and August off. So we'll see what happens or how it all works out. I just started pressing the seam. I didn't even pay attention. I feel like a robot right now, just going through the motions of it. I had to make sure I was pressing it in the right direction. When I'm doing like my own quilts, or like when I start the Ghost Party blocks, I'll probably press the seams open. But for the cotton cuts, there's little arrows. I'm not sure how well you can see it on the paperwork. But there's arrows that tell you which way to press your seams, and I always try to follow that. One, because usually I'm doing like a very structured tutorial, but also because when you put your whole quilt together, then every single seam will nest, and it just makes it easier in the end. Oh yeah, I'm loving these. The colors. I was so excited and inspired by the Tree of Life. It was the theme of the Puzzle Mystery quilt before this one, and there was another one that had similar colors. And when I saw the reveal, I was like, oh, for the next one, I want that colorway. So I'm hoping, I'm excited to see it to come together, because I really have been enjoying how it's turning out. And I feel like I'm spoiled by the batiks because they, like, a batik is made through like a very special process with wax and then having it dyed, and there's almost a little bit, I wouldn't call it stiff, but they just feel thicker. And for the Halloween themed puzzle mystery quilt that I'm doing, the one that I've done on here that has like the pink Halloween fabric, it's your normal quilting cotton, not batiks. And I notice a difference of, I have to be way more mindful about like putting my needle down and making sure that things don't slip as much. I also find that with the batiks, when I'm pressing it, it gives almost like a more crisp press. When I was visiting family last weekend back home, I went into the local quilt store, and she has like a whole section of batiks, and these don't have like any animal print. There's not really like a shape on them, they're just more like abstract. But they had some really cute ones at the local quilt shop that had like turtles and sea life on it. Oh yeah, if there is a weekend, I can absolutely make it work. Like when we went out for Mojo Sews, that is totally doable. It's just easier if it's a closer location. Like for us to drive out to Michelle's Mojo Sews, it was like maybe a 2-hour drive. So it's more of like, you know, if it was local, that would be awesome. Whereas like flying across the country for a weekend makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm just laying out this second block. Yeah, and actually, I mentioned it, I think it was last week, I briefly mentioned that a fabric group called Tay Tay's Custom Fabric is putting together one outside of Boston in March, which is like super convenient because from here in New York City, it's like a 4-hour drive if there's not really traffic, but from my parents, it's like a 2-hour drive. So that is super doable. And it falls on a weekend where I actually have the Friday off from work because the Friday is Eid, and in New York City we now get Eid off. So I can't remember the owner's name, unfortunately, right now off the top of my head, but she sent me a message, so I'm going to reach out to her since it's her first time putting it on, just to, I definitely want to apply to teach, but depending, you know, whatever you teach, whether it's a convention or just like a small weekend thing, sometimes you have like a time limit to classes. So she messaged me saying that she thinks like the pool tote, my pattern, the Eileen pool tote, would be really good, and because where the retreat is in March, it is on the water in Boston, on the ocean. So I agree with her, but that is a very big bag. So I'll have to ask her if there is like how long the teaching blocks are, or just make modifications to the pattern that it could fit with in the time period. Did Michelle pay you to teach? So how it worked with Michelle is we told her behind the scene, like each of us who taught told her behind the scenes how much it would be for like a class kit and like us to come out there, and then she totaled that together and just built it in one price, and then she split up the money behind the scenes, which is usually like even with the conventions, the ones that I've done, either the whoever's hosting it um, directly pays you for the you pay the whoever the host is, and then they give you the money for the class kits, or how Lauren did it at So Whatever is she had them pay teachers directly, and that worked really nice. And Amanda did that same thing in Las Vegas, and I appreciated that because when people are paying you directly, it's just, for me, easier to keep track of everybody and their class kit choices and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it just really depends behind like the scenes. I also think like who, depending on who's running the convention or the weekend, they have different preferences. For me, like, I'm pretty transparent with stuff like that. So for me to be able to teach is I like to have all the money up front, so that way like I don't have to front a whole bunch of my money to buy the materials for class kits, and it just helps me organize, making sure that I can secure transportation or hotels or whatnot. Oh yeah, Cynthia, you can send me a message. You can send me either like a Facebook message, or I'm not amazing at checking them, partly because I have a sewing one and then I have like my personal one. So if I'm in my personal, then I don't get notifications, but if I know that you're sending a message, um, or if you go to my website, somajestic.com, it has like a contact us, and that goes directly to my email. So either of those, if you want to reach out, that would get to me. On Michelle's, because it was smaller, it was nice because we kind of all chatted behind the scenes. Like the bigger conventions, so when I did Sewcations, and before So Magical Expo went under, they would pay their teachers like an hourly rate. I can't remember. I don't know if it was like 25 an hour or something like that. But they do offer like a hourly rate as well. And I know the quilting conventions, because I've looked at teaching at some of the quilting ones, like the original Sewing and Quilt Expo. They, if you teach enough classes, if you teach like what they consider full time, like they will pay for your like hotel stay and everything. If it's more part time, they pay like an hourly rate. And if you're interested in how different people structure it, definitely check out, they call it OSQE, Original Sewing and Quilting Expo, because all their information is on their website. If you go to like teacher applications, you can find it. Yeah, I prefer small. The more people in a class, the harder it is to make sure you're getting to everybody. So Michelle's was, there was 10 of us, and that was really nice. Like, we're all so everybody who taught at Mojo Sews and everybody who attended, we're all in like a mini group chat and still like talk to each other like daily. And if we have questions, like we put in the group, like, what machine do you use? That really created like a nice bond between people. So I definitely like that. And even the larger conventions I've had like people help, and yeah, depending, I don't know, depending on the attendees and stuff, some of us, we chatted a whole bunch. Some people are just there and, they want to bake their bag and that's it. So it's cool. It just, it depends on who's there and how it's set up. Yeah, so Michelle, she actually like made the lunch and then had a whole bunch of snacks. Because with her, it was like structured, but it wasn't like. Whereas at the convention, for example, like Socations, like my class was 2 hours and we only had the 2 hours. Where Michelle's, because it was more of like a more intimate retreat, like we planned that it may take 2 hours, and then we got talking and now it took 3. I definitely recommend food and snacks. At least as an option. Even though like I generally like don't snack while I'm sewing, it when you're there for like multiple hours, it's definitely like good to have. Alright, I'm just double checking I did not accidentally flip these colors around. I always mess up the orange and yellow. I always reverse them. I don't know why my brain does that, but I do it so often. Yeah, and it was nice, like all the ones that I've done, there was like sewing activities, but then there was like other more like crafty things or options as well. Or like Jenna from Thunderbird Handcrafted did her dyeing tutorial, so people with the indigo dye, so people got like fabric that they could then I know I'm not using the correct terms, like you tie it up almost like tie-dye, but it's using like the natural indigo, and so they made like their own unique fabric and stuff. So that's other things that are some ideas, because sitting at a sewing machine, especially if it's like back-to-back classes, can also get tedious. People get tired and stuff. Oh, yeah, so see, Cynthia, I just saw your comment now. Yeah, some people were totally fine for sewing consistently, and then other people needed a break, and that was fine too. My personal teaching style, my day job is I am a school teacher, and I am very used to working with students who are on all different levels. So I'm very used to having kids in my classroom on different parts of a project or different steps. So I know some sewing classes are very structured and everybody's like, okay, we're step 1. Let's do this. Everybody does step 1. Then step 2, I'm very much like I start to explain it, and I always give a printed copy of the pattern so that way people can kind of move ahead at their own pace. And then I try to bounce around and help people individually. But that's my personal teaching style or way of that I prefer to do it. Yeah. I didn't realize I need 2 that look exactly like this, so now I need to make another one. Yeah, and as a like regular school teacher, we're constantly evaluated, so I am no stranger to receiving feedback on lessons and everything. So that's one of the things I also really enjoy about teaching. I love when people tell me like, I really enjoyed this part of the class, or give constructive feedback and are like, oh, I struggled with this. So that's definitely helped me how I have tweaked how I have taught sewing classes. And also, I think I've taught 5 classes now in person. So I'm starting to learn, like, what works best teaching sewing or teaching bag making. Oh, okay, so you're in Pennsylvania. You're not that far then, Cynthia. I have never used an industrial machine. So for me, as long as there was somebody that could help troubleshoot if someone came up with a mistake or had a problem with the machine, I would have no problem doing it. Because depending on the materials, like an industrial machine could work better. That's actually one of the things that I have learned is, like, this machine here can go through a lot of layers. And in the bag making groups, I see people recommend like the Juki TLs all the time. But I learned that after teaching them in person that they struggle a lot more than what I expected. So I had brought some vinyl, and I probably should have been did like a canvas and then used foam instead of vinyl. So industrial machines can be good because you can use different materials. So for me, as long as there's somebody there that can help with that, at the end of the day, it's still like the stitches, the sewing aspect, the steps of the pattern are all going to be the same. Oh yeah, so that would be great if you're renting them and then that person's there. Yeah. Because I sew on this machine, which is a Singer. I think it's a 5528. I think it's from 1981 or 82, and inside it has metal gears. But there's no like fancy buttons. Everything is pretty like mechanical on it. And at Sewcations, we used Juki TLs and then another Juki that was computerized. I don't know all the letters. It was like a super really nice machine that I think would be amazing for quilting, but it was very computerized, and I had no clue how to adjust the machine for like stitch length, or you pushed a button and it backstitched for you. And that was really nice because there was a few people in the class who had that machine at home, and they were helpful to each other and to me learning the machine. I think that's one thing, like one of my favorite things about sewing classes in the sewing community is every single class I've taught, people are so friendly and so helpful to each other. Like they share like their tools or tips and tricks, and that like the community around the sewing class is probably one of my favorite things, even more than just actually teaching and making the bag. Michelle had a couple of the 2010s, I believe. For Michelle's, people brought their own machine. And she had a couple that people could rent. But most people brought their own. That's another thing that I, like if I was planning my own sewing class convention, if people are not bringing their own machine, which if they do, it's helpful because they already know how to use it, how to correct the tension, any little, like they're comfortable with their machine. So if they're using a machine they never sewed on before, I would build in some time and some scrap. I usually bring scraps of material so people can kind of play around with it and get used to it, because every machine runs differently, so you get used to one thing and then a different machine may be completely different. So I would definitely build that into the timing when you're thinking about running a class or. I'm trying to make sure that I am putting these correctly. I think this is right. My top one, C fabric. I'm so bad about matching up like the points here. I never get like a really nice crisp point. I try to fold it back on themselves, but it's so hard that I've kind of adapted, like, okay, as long as it's close enough, it's okay for me. This is good, Cynthia. You're helping me like reflect on like the teaching. And it's good because, like I said, I want to apply to teach in March at the Tay-Tay's one, so. And some of the applications will say, like, what do you want to teach? What will students learn? They'll ask you so they could put it in a little blurb so that when people are signing up for classes, they have an idea of what they'll learn within the class. I feel like I have like chaos going on over here, but I'm running out of space to press the pieces. Oh, that's so cool, Cynthia. My dad and niece found an old white rotary machine like pre-World War II. So I have been cleaning up that, and I can't wait I have to finish. We got most of the dirt off. Now I got to really like fine tune it, but we plugged it in and it sews. I got a new little piece for the motor to help it turn easier. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to like actually sew something on it. So it's not confirmed that I'm teaching in March, but in March there's a group called Tay-Tay Custom Fabric. It's Taytay. If you go on to Facebook and do a search, Tay-Tay's Custom Fabric, it will come up. Join her group. She's been posting the information. It's going to be a weekend in March, and it's on the outskirts of Boston. Like, if you're looking at Boston, it's like to the water on the right hand side. I don't really know a whole bunch of details because I need to message her behind the scenes as far as how long the classes will be and stuff, but she's slowly starting to release information of dates, and she's looking for vendors, looking for teachers and stuff. So I actually hope to teach and vend. Oh, okay, perfect. Are you trying to put together like a smaller weekend type thing, or just like a one day event? Yeah, it seems to be really nice and seems like it's pretty organized. So I'm looking forward to it. Alright, so I have the two like blocks side by side. So now I'm just combining these all together, and I'm gonna match the center seam first because that's most important for me. Hopefully it will all, I just hit my hand on the iron. Hopefully it will all stay aligned. Yeah, definitely let me know, Cynthia. You are so close that it'd be really convenient for me to come out to you if you want. Pretty much on like the East Coast, like I'm willing to do that. That original Sewing and Quilt Expo, they have them all over the United States, and they have one in Virginia, but it's the same like problem. Their one in Virginia is in September, which is like I just started school again, and they do theirs from Wednesday to Saturday. So for them, it would have to really be a summer one for me, and their summer ones I believe are in like Texas and such, so a little bit further to travel. Oh, thank you. Oh, all right, Arnetta. So let me ask both of you, because, or any of you that are on and you want to put your input. I've been tossing this idea around for like a year now. I think I want to create like a Facebook group, like Northeast, I guess US, because right, it could be anywhere in the world, but like Northeast US, like sewists and bag makers. Just because I feel like there's a lot of us in the area, but we just don't know about each other. And that way we could connect for different events and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her more this week, and so that way on my live, what I'll do is I'll print out the information, because she has like a nice graphic in her group. And it says like the location, the dates. It's the middle of March. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I want to say it's like the 17th or so, or 14th. It's like the middle, whatever weekend that is. And if your calendar says Eid on it, it's the weekend that Eid is. Yeah, I'll try to print out the information, that way I can see it and you guys can like take a screenshot. Or you can, her Facebook group is Tay-Tay's Custom Fabric. So if you're okay with joining Facebook groups, she has the information there. All right, perfect. I love the larger blocks, how these are coming out. Some of the other ones are smaller. So this one here has 2. So this was 8A. So since I did this one live, I'll do the other one for like a actual tutorial that's on my to-do list for the weekend. So now I have 8B, which is like a long section. I believe the cool thing about it could be good or bad depending what you like. With the puzzle mystery quilt, you don't know what the quilt will look like at the end. So my suspicion is that these larger blocks are going to be more towards the center, and these long ones are going to be used almost like a border to frame the outsides. We'll see how long this one takes. The only thing about this style of block is that because you're overlapping edges, it makes it, you can't really chain piece it. So it is a little bit more, I find that these are a little bit more time consuming than some of the others. Oh. See, I have to, like, sometimes my brain, I'm like looking at the picture and trying to figure out, like, how does this come together? And then even though some people say, like, with batiks it doesn't really matter because of how they dye it, I still feel like they're on one side, it's, you can see the grain of the fabric a little bit more. So I've been super neurotic about folding it back on itself and picking picking sides. Alright, let me start with that. It's called, I don't know what she's calling the name of it. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Tay custom fabric. So if you search that in the in Facebook and you search under groups, her group should come up because she sells custom printed fabric. I believe she does a whole variety of bases. I've heard of her shop. It's been around for a while, but I to be honest, I haven't ordered anything from it. So she has a group geared towards that, and she's the one that's putting everything together. So within her group, she has the posts about that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I almost think the name of it has something to do with beach, that she's calling it. Because it looks like it's at a really nice hotel along the water. From me quickly like Googling it. Yeah, her name is like, I know she's a legitimate and trustworthy custom fabric group. I just haven't purchased anything. And mostly because I've been really trying to use stuff that I have. I have a sewing room right now that's just overflowing with everything. What I need to do, actually I'll probably do it on a live, is a couple months ago I might have mentioned this before. I can't remember, so I'm sorry if I did. A couple months ago I had sewn using the Tula Pink cat fabric and paired it with some rainbow cork. And I've had the cork, I ordered it from Portugal and I had it sitting for probably a year in my closet, but I have other cork and never had a trouble. All the actual cork came unbonded from the backing of it. So even though I haven't even been using the purse that long, it's already like looks terrible. So I need to make myself a everyday purse. So that will probably turn into one of my Tuesday night lives. Oh, perfect, Arnetta. Yeah, she seems super nice and like has been answering like a lot of questions, and as soon as I like said I was interested, she messaged me behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm really interesting. I hope there's a good interest in it and turnout. So even though this has basically 3 economy blocks for this one, it's instead of doing like the 3 squares, it's being constructed a little bit differently, almost like at a diagonal. before coming on, I was looking to, it's the time of year where I do or get invited to different craft fairs. I always do like a local one at the church I grew up with at back home, and I've done one at my local high school. So I was looking at all the different like pop-up craft fairs and stuff. I always use them, like, so my shop, I mostly focus on the sewing supplies, but obviously I'm making way more bags than I can use. So I always try to join like the local craft fairs and whatnot to try to get rid of some of my bags that are taking up space that I don't have a recipient in mind for. This always throws me off too in the instructions. So everybody has like a different colorway with fabric. So they'll say like fabric A, fabric B, and on the instructions, fabric A is a white, and in real life it's dark. So I always get thrown off and question myself when I'm putting that one together. I believe she's out of Boston, which I didn't know, or out of Massachusetts. Where she's having the retreat is definitely right outside of Boston. So I'm assuming it's probably close to where she is located. Yeah, if you look at the hotel, I can't think of the name of it, because it's like, it's not a big chain, or at least it didn't appear to be a big chain. It looks really, really nice. And honestly, one of the things that I also love about the larger sewing retreats is like taking advantage of doing things in the area. So like, I love Boston, like especially in March. There's so much. Well, I guess you could get hit with snow still, but you could also do a lot of things. And like when we went out to Las Vegas this summer for Sewcation, I taught, all my classes were in the morning, so we taught in the morning, and then we were just like tourists in the afternoon, and we went to Red Rocks Canyon and drove out through Lake Mead. And I love traveling and seeing different places. So anytime that I can do a sewing retreat and then also get to explore the area makes me so excited. Yeah, so 6 hours not terrible. That makes sense coming from Pennsylvania, because it's like 4, give or take, with traffic on the 95. It's like atrocious. I always have to, whenever I go visit my parents, I have to time it, because during rush hour it will turn into like a parking lot. Yeah, me too. I hope to do more of it. And I like being like, even if it's not like traveling somewhere away, just being here in New York City, like going into Manhattan and doing things in the city. Or this summer they opened a Great Wolf Lodge at the casino in Connecticut, which is close to my family. So we all went, like my parents, my sister and nieces, myself and Jason, and we just had such a fun time. I'm definitely one of the people who prefer experiences to like tangible things. So like I'd rather put my money towards going out or doing something new than like a new outfit. All right, so you can see that this is like diagonal slices, I think. So now this, I always get confused and have to make sure I line it up because it seems funny like this is hanging off, but it's not really. So I'm going to try to clip that center seam as best as I can. I really like Pennsylvania. Growing up, we would always go, not always, but like summer vacations to like go camping and go to Hershey and go to Lancaster to see the Amish and go, what are they? I can't think. It's the green. It's like the Green Dragon. It's like a flea market out there in Lancaster. And my mom is obsessed with the whoopie pies. So like anytime I go and we're in that area of Lancaster, it's like we have to stop and get some for mom. And what's cool is like my nieces are, they just turned 9 and 10. So like we've been doing things with them that my parents took my sister and I as kids. So that's been a lot of fun, like seeing them enjoy and have experiences that my sister and I enjoyed a lot growing up. Alright. Yeah, that one, the point's not so perfect, but it blends in, or hopefully. I don't know how noticeable it is on the screen, but it shifted by like a millimeter or two. But things like that, I just don't pick out. You know, I've said it a bunch of times, but quilting for me is just more of like enjoying the sewing process and stress relief than it is about me being like really picky about everything matching up and stuff, which is like kind of a nice break because I'm one of those teachers with like the borders of a bulletin board, like I will cut them so it if there's like a print it matches. Like I'm very like strict about that in my everyday, so it's been kind of nice like purposely not stressing about little things like that in my sewing, especially if it's not like a garment that's now not going to fit or something. I like the construction of this block. It's coming together more quickly than I expected it to. So next week, I know a lot of you tune in weekly for me. So next week, I do not have work on Tuesday and Wednesday. It is the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah. So I'm not entirely sure what my plans are for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I don't know 100% if I'll have my live on Tuesday night. So I will definitely like put a post on YouTube or on my social media if I switch it to a different night. I love that so many of you tune in every week and chat with me. I really do look forward to it. And it's so cool, like I hope to meet more of you in person. It was really cool at Sewcations. meeting some people for the first time that I've, you know, been chatting with, whether it's up through my YouTube channel or just within other sewing groups and stuff. It's like a fun feeling because it's like you feel like you know people, but you've never met them yet. And I'm so happy to be getting this block done today. I still have to film the tutorial, but sometimes I'll film the tutorial and then not do it on a live, and I have to catch up with the sewing before I can put the whole quilt together. So I really enjoy doing the puzzle mystery quilts on the lives because it keeps me consistent and making sure that I have everything completed. I have literally one more line of stitching to combine these together, and I don't think you can tell. There's literally one piece of thread, like it's coming off the bobbin, or not the bobbin, I don't know what's the correct term. I can't think of the name of it right now. The spool. So I'm like, do I risk it? I'm gonna try. If not, what I'll do is I'll just backstitch in the middle of it and put on a different spool thread. Because for this one, for the quilting, I'm just using Gutermann, like the normal size thread that you used to be able to just get at Joann's. Because it's piecing, I don't worry about the bobbin and the top thread matching or anything like that. I think I have like a brown underneath and like a blue up top right now. Alright, let's see if I can win. So instead of bobbin chicken, it's gonna be spool chicken. I'm already not doing good. I cut it really short, so it popped out of my needle, so I just have to rethread it. Alright, let's see. Oh my god, this is gonna be so close. I was way too excited about this. It's like the little things, right? I don't know. It's so hard to see like on a camera. But this is literally like how much thread I ended up with on that spool. Yay. Again, it was probably one of those things that I should have just been like safe, but I always try to use up literally everything, like down to the last thread, keep my scrap pieces, and try to be as little waste as possible. Oh, does Gutermann have a Text 35? I did not know that. For my quilting, I don't know what text it is. I think they call it Mara 100 for Gutermann. But for all my bag making, I have these bigger spools that are Text 35 from Wizardry Stitchery. And they work great. Like, I have every variegated option that they have. If I can use a variegated thread that matches, I always pick variegated. But I'll have to look into it. If they have Text 35, like that might be really good. Yeah, exactly. Instead of a bobbin win, it was like a spool win. Oh, and then doesn't go to waste. Yay, I'm so excited. Now, so this is the, let me do this so I don't burn myself. So this is the second one. And I'll have 2 of these. And so the puzzle mystery quilt is 10 months. 9 of them are where you sew different blocks. And then in month 10, you get the instructions about how to put your whole quilt together. So only 1 more month of actually building blocks. Yeah, I don't know, Cynthia. I honestly, I'm self-taught. I really don't know what the difference between Mara and Tex, and some people say weights of thread, and I kind of just found like what works in my machine and just stick with it. I have found that even with quilting, I prefer polyester thread. I know people love Aurifil and cotton thread, but I find that it gets so fuzzy. I'm constantly cleaning where the bobbin goes from all the fuzziness from it. So I did try it when I first started quilting, but now I'm like, meh, I just use polyester. And then I just put my instructions and everything. Cotton Cuts gives you these little bags that are labeled, because then they'll say like, sew block 8A to 2B. And so this way it's just organized and I can find all my blocks. So, come on. All right, I'm gonna hop off for the night. I really appreciate you guys chatting with me. I will try to get more information about the retreat in March from Tay Tay Custom Fabric, so that way I can talk about it a little bit more next week. And again, I'm not 100% sure if I'll be live Tuesday night. It just depends. I'll put a post if I end up changing it. So thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been so much fun. I really, really look forward to it, and hopefully you guys can join me next week. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.